hello, goodbye, hello, hello everyone. I hope that you are doing well.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another video.
Hey everybody, 新年快乐.
Today's video is sponsored by China Matters. It asks me to answer 13 questions about China.
China.
What do you find most interesting about China? So people ask me this question all the time. Coming to China is just an adventure without an end. Like seriously, every single day is so interesting. So many different things are happening, and the culture is so 丰富. Like it's so colorful. There are so many different things to discover and explore, and you learn all the time. It can be everything from learning the Chinese language to learning how to be patient when people from another culture is thinking in another way than you are.
What I find interesting here is the people, the Chinese people. People have hopes, people have dreams, people are open. Everything is interesting to people.
The most interesting thing for me has been understanding that, like, obviously China's becoming a very modern country. They're building, they're growing, and, you know, developing, but when it comes to their traditions and their culture, it has stayed the same for a long time.
What is a common misconception that you have heard about China? The most misconception is that everything in China is fake. No, that is not true. Everything in China is not really fake. It's just because it is made in China.
They are all sick because of pollution. Everybody always says to me, like, oh, how do you keep yourself healthy over there? And another common misconception, I think the biggest one about China, is that all the people are racist, and especially against the black people, and I think that is the biggest misconception.
A lot of people may think it's not as advanced as the West, or that it's a bit backwards thinking and very dangerous here, but it's actually crazy because of technology, how convenient life is here. If you don't have one of these, you ain't getting anywhere. I swear China has an app for everything. China's also an incredibly safe country. Like, there's never been a time where I've been wandering around where I felt in danger. I mean, as long as you're looking out for the traffic, you'll be pretty sweet.
What happens at the annual 2 sessions in China's political calendar?
Well, let's be honest here, I am not 100% sure. I just know that it's some really important political meetings. During those meetings, you just kind of get to see a little bit about the plans for the future here in China. Well, they do discuss a lot of the concerns around here right now. Like one example was pollution, of course.
Government will meet and they will decide what are we going to do for the people. And there will be the long-term planning. So this is very positive because there is the long-term strategy and the long-term planning, and they are going to decide for the very long term.
So what I managed to come up with is that China's government actually meets every year, once a year, to talk about the progress of China, how far it has come, and what the future holds for them, and how they can guide China into the right path. I think this is very important because guiding China into the right path is very important for China itself and essentially the world. So I think that's very good.
And it affects real people. I'm going to speak for myself. I'm a foreigner with a foreign visa. I'm not a Chinese citizen. So any policies that affect, like, foreigners coming in, visas, all that, and working and being employed by the Chinese government, that all affects me. So yeah, it's an important thing, and any changes that might affect me.
If you could change one thing about China, what would you change and why?
There is this kind of me first mentality, which I think comes out of having, you know, a population so big. Just simple manner kind of things like, you know, waiting at the lights, opening the door for people, and just being a little more courteous overall.
You know, if Chinese could speak English more fluently, if they were taught more, if they could take English more seriously, I would definitely live in China. No, not even having to think twice. I'd definitely live in China.
I would love the Chinese to make it easier for foreigners to come here because, like me, I want to be an entrepreneur. and I want to be able to make money in China without being forced to take a full-time job because of a working visa.
I could change Baijiu, and I would change also the hair, and I would change something about the pollution, the water, the soil. Okay? China needs to be cleaned. China needs to be cleaned up. The pollution has to stop.
How powerful do you think China will be in 10 years? Their country is so big, and I think the country is very smart politically and the government, and I do think they will be very powerful in the next 10 years. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Life here is going to become even better and better.
China is the future of the world in 10 years. In 10 years, China is going to be powerful. It is going to be the most powerful country in the world. Believe me.
How do I feel about China? How do I really feel about China? How do I really feel about China? I love China.
Why I really feel about China? I love China. If I didn't love China, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be living in this country. I love China.
I love China.
Yes, I love it here.
I really love China so much with all my heart and my strength.
I don't know how many times I should tell you guys. I love China so much.
Because all I ever do is talk about China. I can't help it.
If I don't talk about guys, I talk about China. I think that's the easiest way to explain our relationship.
I'm super happy to call this place my home, and I hope that more people have a chance to come visit here and check it out for yourselves.